The hate for the G5 is real. But James Madison going on the road to Autzen Stadium to play Oregon. Do they play spoiler or do the Oregon Ducks keep on rolling, baby? Welcome on in. This is the Southern Sports Scene here on YouTube. Welcome on in once again, ladies and gentlemen. You are the best audience in the world. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live here on the Southern Sports Scene. Everybody do us a favor and go check out our sponsors. First of all, it's Frost Buddy. Go to frostbuddy.com and use our promo code SSS15 to get yourself 15% off of your first purchase and on all tumblers, on all mugs, whatever it is you need for the holiday season. Go on over to chikenutrition.com as well. Click the link below to get 10% off to start your fitness journey on the right track with the right supplements. Chike Nutrition is there for you. Oregon has looked dominant in majority of the games that they've played. Dante Moore has played well at times throughout the year, but we've also seen him struggle. And I think it's highlighted that 3 of the last 4 games has Oregon looked as dominant as they have been in years prior or in games prior. Honestly, not really. That's my opinion. I think that when you look at games like the Iowa game, ever since the Indiana game, guys, this offense has just not looked that great. Even going back to the Wisconsin game, this offense has struggled. They just have not been as good as you would like for them to have been. When you look at the Iowa game, you have 373 of total offense, but you're 3 of 10 on third down. You look at the USC game. Guys, this was a tight football game early on. You were much better on third down, but you still had 11 penalties. Areas where you struggled with just self-discipline stuff. Dante Moore, did he look as confident as he did earlier in the season throwing the football? Not really. When he got on up against better defense, he tended to struggle. He looked efficient against Washington and against that defense, but Oregon was still 6 of 16 on third down. Made some gutsy decisions on fourth down, though, that got him back in the football game. Or not even really back in the football game. They just were able to dominate the rest of that football game. Jamari Johnson and DK Moore are the 2 biggest threats. DK Moore, is he going to be healthy? Is Evan Stewart going to be healthy this week? We still are looking for more from that. Look, man, I thought that Oregon, for the most part, defensively, their front 4 has been the biggest difference for them this year. They've looked really dominant up front. They're getting after dudes majority of the time. The problem is that they have a depleted receiving room. Defensively, I don't think I should have much to worry about. Gary Bryant, is he going to be available? I don't know, man. It's been very tight in that receiving room. I'll see what happens from then on. Kenyon Sadiq is going to play another big role in this football game. I thought he's been well prepared for this, and I think he's going to be utilized properly in this offense. He's done a really good job being that safety valve for Dante Moore, turning around and getting 5 to 8 yards a catch, and he's done well with the football in his hands. He's going to have to use that. I want to see Dante Moore be able to utilize his legs as well so that he can be a more of a bigger threat in this football game. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. James Madison, let's talk about that. Alonzo Barrett or Barnett, been one of the best quarterbacks in the G5. Barrett is so dynamic when he has the football in his hands. He had 544 yards on the ground this year, and JMU offensively has shown out. The problem is that competition-wise, they're not there. And one of the best wins that they've had all year against Troy last 2 weeks ago in the Sun Belt title. Guys, this was a tight ball game. JMU started slow. You can't do that going into Eugene. And if you do, if it gets to 14-0, that game could turn very ugly very quickly. JMU can't afford for that. You've got to keep this close. You've got to go blow for blow if you are able to, but you've got to be able to force turnovers too. One of the things that Oregon has struggled with in their lone loss this year to Indiana was turnovers. It started with the opening drive too that Indiana had, or that Oregon had offensively, where you have a turnover on downs, you have a missed field goal, you have two interceptions. You had 4 turnovers essentially against Indiana. And Indiana took advantage of that. They get a field goal following the turnover on downs. You have an field goal that comes off of an interception. 6-point swing. Now, I know it was just that, but really, Indiana could have made that into so much more. They could have blown the lid off of Oregon, if we're being completely real with each other. They really could have. But this is an Oregon team that offensively has got to find their rhythm. If they can get their 2 guys healthy, and Evan Stewart, and depending on what happens with DK Moore, they're going to be utilized. But Kenyon Sadiq is going to be the number 1 target if those 2 guys are not going to be able to go. But I wouldn't even be surprised if he's the number 1 target this weekend anyway. So it really couldn't matter to me. Gary Bryant has appeared in practice a little bit, but we'll see what type of impact that he's going to make. What does Oregon look like this weekend, knowing that Will Stein is gone after this year? Tosh Lapoy is headed to Cal. Bob Chesney is going to UCLA. What is the mentality of all 3 of these teams, knowing that their respective coordinators and head coaches are gone after this year? One team gone after this game. How that mental game is going to play a role. That's a big thing to consider. But nonetheless, guys, our predictions for this one, JMU's defense, as good as they were in Sun Valley, this is just a different animal playing. It's Oregon. Josh Pate said it on Bussin' with the Boys earlier today. This is just a tune-up game for Oregon, preparing for next week. It's the bottom line. Oregon didn't want the bye week. You know why? Because they were going to be pretty much screwed when it was all said and done. Guys, Oregon has an 88.2% chance at winning this football game. It opened at 21.5 point spread. It's going to stay at about 20.5. But it's going to be a tight ball game, man. It's not going to be a tight ball game, I should say. But the question is Oregon going to be able to cover the 20.5 point spread? I have no doubt that Oregon's going to win this one. Are they going to cover? Let's see what happens, man. I mean, against the spread this year, they're 8-4. So it's not as bad as you would expect. So it's been really good so far this year for Oregon. Their offense has to show up. If James Madison goes down 14 early, Oregon has a chance to cover. I know that James Madison, I don't think they have the Liberty game on their mind. They shouldn't. It's stupid if they do. But I think Oregon takes advantage of it. As good as James Madison was in the regular season, this defensive line is going to get after Alonzo Barrett. They're going to create big plays down the field. Oregon takes this one pretty easily. I see them covering. Maybe at the most, they're going to cover by double digits. It'll either be by 10 or 14 at the lowest, or by 24 or 27 at the most. That's the range I'm going to go with. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. What do you think that Oregon's going to do this year? What are they going to look like when they go into Autzen this weekend? Y'all have a great rest of the week. We'll see you guys following each of the games to give you our instant reaction off of every single game. Y'all have a great rest of the week. We'll see you later. Peace.